Is it done when you're ready?
I'm ready.
We're gonna go ahead and get started. Good evening. I am Becky Tuttle, and it's my privilege and honor to serve on Wichita City Council representing District 2. Welcome to the District 2 Advisory Board meeting on Monday, June 10th at 2024 at 6 p.m. We're gonna go ahead and get started. The first thing that we like to do in District 2 is everyone on the District Advisory Board introduce themselves and their favorite thing about Wichita, and you can't repeat what someone else said. So tonight I am going to start virtually. So Tracy, Jennifer, and Chris, we're gonna let you have the first shot. So Tracy, would you introduce yourself and your favorite thing about Wichita?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Tracy Adams, representing the Harrison Park community. Today, right this minute, my favorite thing about Wichita is the sushi.
That's very specific.
First time.
Okay, that's gonna be our
Just saying.
shot, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, Jennifer.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer McDonald, representing Dublin Court Homeowners Association. And my favorite thing about Wichita is Riverfest and the Riverfest concerts. Our family got to go out several evenings to Riverfest, and it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So glad to hear that you were able to enjoy it with your lovely family. How about Chris?
Hey, hello, Chris Broderick, representing the Northbrook neighborhood near 37th and Woodlawn. And I enjoy the Great Plains Nature Center, all the trails and nature and things you can go over there and walk around and see everything. So
The Great Plains Nature Center is unique because it's a partnership between the state, the federal, and the local entities, park services. So pretty unique to have all three engaged. So thank you. John?
Sean Baker, represent Pine Meadows, and my favorite thing for next week is we're still open.
Yes. Huge economic impact in our community. So glad. It's not in District 2 because Crestview is a carve out. It's actually Benningham Township, but I still claim it as mine.
Tyler York from the Sierra Hills neighborhood, and I love that our newly crowned Miss Kansas is a Wichitan, and I believe that makes it 2 years in a row. So welcome.
Aaron Miller, I represent the Bonnie Brae Homeowners Association. See if this is unique enough to pass, but the fireworks at the Riverfest, I was traveling on last week, but I was glad I was back Friday for Saturday to be able to catch the ending show.
We'll give you the pass. That's solid.
I'm Stephanie McCurdy. I represent the Hawthorne subdivision. And my favorite thing about Wichita was Lark Arts. Over the last few weeks, they hosted the Oil Painters of America. And they said that they will be coming back.
And that is in District. Love it. Okay, you're just trying to suck up.
My name is Faith Martin. I represent East Ridge Neighborhood Association, and my favorite thing right now is road construction because Lincoln is finally getting work on the sector.
Bruce Gass. I represent the Chisholm Creek Homeowners Association. And as I was driving on eastbound on Kellogg this morning, I have wondered sometimes at the extra money we spend to make things look a little better, although theoretically I'm in favor of it. And I noticed, all these sculptured ups and downs on Kellogg in that new area. And I just like to say that it seemed like it was all worth it all right now. It's almost like driving through an arbor.
And the Arts Council actually gave East Caledonia an award last year for the innovation. We take great pride in investing 2% of every project in art. So yeah, I love that. Thank you, Bruce.
And Jim Groff here, representing the east side of Perry, the Western States HOA. And I most like, let's see, 3 already nailed here in front of me tonight. These are pretty late. I most like the fire department, their activities, their responses, and the things that they have done for this community as of late. And yet the 4th of July coming up.
Right.
And I was really tickled that, I didn't have to use them tonight as I was putting up
the grandchildren's hamburger fry got out of control.
And Teresa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Veazey, your Community Services Representative. And my favorite thing about Wichita has been the rain that we've gotten because we really needed it. And now it needs to stop because my dad is a farmer and he needs to cut wheat and then it can start again. So.
It's a very specific request, but we'll try. All right, so next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda for tonight, June 10th, 2024. Before we make a motion, I'd like to make a request that we move new business item 7 to first, right after approval of the minutes. We have two staff here who also need to try and get to the District Advisory Board 1 meeting. And that way they can try and travel through space and time to get there. So I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda with moving new business item 7 to the top of the agenda.
I so move.
I second. And then Faith will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Lucky day, Jennifer. Next on the agenda is we do have approval of the minutes from May 13th of 2024. It was a great meeting. We had lots of robust information, including the budget. Teresa, as always, has done a great job preparing the minutes. Hopefully you got a chance to review them, but I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from May 13th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. All those, second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nice.
So John and Faith abstained because they were not present last. Okay. So we are now going to go to new business item number 7, proposed city ordinance designating the city website as the official newspaper. And if I could have Megan Lovely, Communications, and Jennifer down here. We have a PowerPoint presentation to learn more.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for taking us out of order.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Teresa, for helping us get teed up here on this item and see if I can. Operator. Okay, great. Hi, I'm Jennifer Pagani. I'm from the city legal department. And on April 2nd, the city council heard this item for the first time. It's a charter ordinance. And it was presented, and then the council decided, let's hear from, let's have this taken out and presented directly to the DABs. So we staff are in the process of doing that. Law department is presenting, myself and Sharon DeGraff are splitting up, and so that's what we're here. The next thing in the timeline is that next Tuesday, this is coming back to city council for the item to be considered. It's a charter ordinance, so that's why we're here. And so the action at the end of this item is for you to just provide back review and comment. There's no vote at the end of this. Okay. So this is a charter ordinance that would. I just need to turn. I have not used this. Okay. So this is a charter ordinance that. So it's on. Well, she's working on that. I will just start talking about the ordinance. The charter ordinance, backing up, state law provides that cities in the first class, are required to designate by a resolution a newspaper as the official city newspaper for publication of legal ordinances, legal resolutions, city notices. There's a variety of items that need to be published in that way. So the state statutes and the ordinances require that certain actions of the city council be published in a newspaper or in its quote official. Girls, you gotta point it, where should I point? All right, so it's official newspaper or in its official. So that's the background. We are operating under state law and that we have designated a newspaper. In different newspapers over the years, it has not always been the Eagle, but right now it is the Wichita Eagle. There is a contract that was sent out to make the Wichita Eagle enter into a contract when we designated it as the official newspaper. And we spend about $150,000 each year for the Eagle to publish the city's legal publications. And the contract is going through August. So, there we go. So, the proposed ordinance here is that the charter ordinance that comes before you would allow the city to step out of state law and to designate by resolution the city's own website as the district. And the charter ordinance would have to be approved by a majority of 5 members. Charter ordinances are different, regular ordinances are 4, but this is a special provision under state law that we can, under the Kansas Constitution, in which we vote on a matter of local concern that does not come from state law. So it requires 5 votes. The charter ordinance is different in that it requires a 61-day waiting period after the publication of the second reading of that ordinance. And in a charter ordinance, cities have the option or the opportunity to file a petition which would challenge and require a protest vote on the charter ordinance. So there is a waiting period and the opportunity for a protest petition. A little bit more about what the action would do. You have these resolutions and ordinances before you. There is a resolution that would make the designation, and then there's an ordinance that would codify. So they would make the city of Wichita, www.wichita.gov, the official newspaper of the city of Wichita for publication of most legal documents. For those that are absolutely, there are some documents, there are about 9 categories under state law that require an actual publication in the newspaper, that we can't use the website. That would be still allowed, we'd still do that. But those would also be published on the city website as well. So there'd be duplicate or double publication of those. If we adopted the ordinances written, citizens or anyone requesting copies of the publication would get the first 20 pages of any publication free, and the city would maintain this on the city website for 5 years. So the city has already taken steps to do this. We've already started publishing things. Megan will talk about that and how easy it is to use. But this is just the legality of it. The action would be a charter ordinance to change and designate the city's website as the official newspaper. And that's the item that will come before city council on Tuesday. Tuesday, a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, next.
Yeah. That's really all I have, but Megan will talk a little bit about a little more about the nuts and bolts of the publication, how it would be searchable, how it would be used. So I don't know if you want to talk questions now from me, or do you want Megan to go next? And
Make
then
a comment, I think it's a great idea. Eagle, I used to take hard copies of it until about 2 or 3 years ago. Nobody reads it, it comes in the mail, it's late. It's gonna save the city $150,000.
Will you correct me if I'm wrong?
there will still be some publication.
There'll still be some publications, and it doesn't have to be people. And they also have, so it could be the Beacon, it could be the Community Voice. The question is, do we think that just having the city website is enough, or should there be an alternate source?
I think it's great.
It's real time.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else for me before I turn it over to Megan? Okay, thank you very much.
How many other cities in Kansas are already doing this?
Well, several things. I have a list. Let's see here. Did I bring it? There are currently, I'll just read them. This is the list that we've informally, I think, to the best of our knowledge, gathered. Andover, Augusta, Basehor, Dodge City, Hayes, Heston, Hillsborough, Lake Quivira, McPherson, Moundridge, Pratt, Salina, and Victoria. There may be others that we're not aware of, but that's our best guess.
How many of those cities have had major
I'm
hacks
sorry,
where the website was shut down?
Can you say that later?
How many of those cities had a major hack that shut the website down? Because that's my only concern. Because I gave public comment when this was first proposed, and I'm not opposed to it. My fear is that websites are typically difficult for some people to navigate. Sometimes our website is difficult to navigate. This is another issue on top of, can people find the information easily? And now what do we do if our website goes down because we're not doing notifications? So that's my concern.
Megan, we'll talk about that. Thank you all for your time.
So we have actually put a link directly to the legal notices directly on our homepage. We've also improved our search function, so it's much more user friendly. And just a quick clarification, our website has never went down during the cyber incident. There were some services such as paying water bills or booking things at the library that weren't available, but our website is never down. We also have the platinum, whatever, what's the big plus, our website hosted platform, but if it does go down and those services such as legal notices are unavailable, it will be back up within 2 hours. If something catastrophic happens, we also have our entire system backed up within 1 day that we could go back on SharePoint, our old system, within 5 hours. So we've got it.
We know that now.
Yes, so you are good, you're good for our website. But also I just want to clarify, because sometimes we get comments that the Eagle or other newspapers have a paywall. This is outside of the paywall on those areas as well, so. Additional access that we have it on our homepage. You can get to it under the government tabs or the how do I tabs on our website footer. It's also on our city clerk page, search or archive center. Jennifer touched a little bit on how we would keep it for 5 years. That's our legal requirement. We actually don't have any plans to take anything down because it's really not that large of a file and it's not burdensome for us to just upload. So we have everything archived, I want to say through 20 years. I'd have to clarify with Tyler, but he has everything searchable by topic and year. So that's just current. And this isn't new either. I do want to clarify, this is something that we've had on our website for a while. We've been sharing links to it on our social media once a month for, I want to say, 2 years. So who has access to the files on our website? The city clerk is the #1 keeper of all of our ordinances and resolutions, the deputy city clerk, if our city clerk is unavailable. And then there's relevant department staff. This would be our webmaster, Tyler, but also like someone in planning who has an ordinance change, they would have access to submit those. But the city clerk has to submit an affidavit that everything that she submits to wherever it is published is correct. So, all right, moving forward. Jennifer touched on this. Print copies are available upon request at all Wichita Public Library locations and all neighborhood resource centers. The one deficiency is that it is not translated anywhere currently into other languages, and they are uploaded via PDFs, which are not translated. It's not translated in any websites or other print copies. It's not translated on the Eagle, either Derby Informer. None of them do translation. So one thing that we would do is, if it is requested in a different language, we would provide that available. I think we have through city staff, 30 some languages that we can translate through city staff who are bilingual, but we also have services that could translate it in any other language that's requested. So, hang on. What? Nope. Okay. One thing that we were also asked was to talk about some of the ways that we would promote our legal notices. Target audience, which are residents, impacted local business community organizations, all of that fun stuff. These are folks who probably know how to get ordinances, changes, and legal notices that pertain to them already. By the time it is published anywhere, either through the newspaper of record or the website, it has gone through city council. It's usually gone through DAB and APC. So that's just one more step that it lives in finality. Other ways that we are looking at improving promotion of legal notices. We've made updates to the website so it is more searchable and it is on the front page. We would like to do quarterly updates in our newsletters that show some of the things that were pertinent to those districts, or just sharing links. Like I said, we've been doing a promotion on social media for about 2 years. And then we'd like to enter into some community partnerships to promote these. WEBA, WABA, some of the area business oriented, sort of infrastructure oriented groups could help us spread the word on things that are pertinent to their audiences. And then of course, what we really push for is something that we talked about last time I was here presenting to you guys, which is a broader marketing campaign to sign up for emails and notifications, especially if we're going to be doing that promotion on newsletters. All right. We do track the number of visits to municipal legal notices on the city's website. As you can imagine, that is not one of our hotter pages, nor is it frequently clicked on social media when we share links to it. Another thing that we are looking at doing is conducting a survey by Apolco, which is our survey partner, and or newsletters to gather feedback on awareness and usefulness of the municipal legal notices from residents. And just like this one, we're gathering anecdotal feedback from public meetings and community events. And with that, I will take any comments or questions.
Just a comment, but I think in 2024, this is Publix school.
Can I make a clarification? It's already on our website, right?
Yeah.
So we're not doing anything.
No,
Yeah.
it's really not, and we didn't start putting it on the website because, well, from my understanding that we had any desire to change an ordinance, it was just one more point of accessibility for residents. Yes, sir.
For instance, from the time the city council makes a decision on an ordinance, say, to the time that you would actually publish it, how long is that on average, would you guess?
Oh, Jennifer, I think you can speak better to that.
Thank you. So the city has a 2 reading process. So there's a first reading and then the second reading. So tomorrow would, for example, not this ordinance, but just any ordinance, tomorrow would be first reading. And then the Tuesday after would be the second reading. And then it gets published by about Friday or Saturday after that second reading. So from the very first reading, maybe 10 days until it's published.
If people work on the weekends?
Well, it gets
Also.
submitted to the Eagle.
Oh, okay, published, I meant on the website.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you meant currently now.
That's okay, yeah.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, but now, I mean, it would be virtually, as soon as the second reading has been completed, that would be effective.
Thank
And
you.
then it would be published, so it could be that.
So there shouldn't be any big, long surprises, big, long waits.
No,
stuff like
it could
that.
be immediate. I mean, I
Sure.
don't wanna put pressure on
Okay.
it, but it could be that day. Tyler.
It's very easy to upload things to the website.
Thank you.
Look at that.
So all the concerns that were brought up at that city council meeting that were items for future review or research before, like bringing to the DABs and looking up to make sure it was accessible, all those things, were all those items addressed before you brought it out today? It felt like there was like a small list of things that were gonna be researched. Was that all completed then?
Accessibility was one thing that we really addressed. And while it's uploaded in PDF and it's not currently accessible in multiple languages, it's not accessible in Eagle in multiple languages either. So we have well, with anything, we've had this standing. If you request materials in a different language, we provide it.
But blind and visually impaired already do have access to the
Yes.
website, okay.
Correct.
What was the dollar amount for the publication estimate that we will still need to?
I want to say it was just a little over $7,000.
Just to clarify, there will still be some things that have to be in paper.
Yes.
There's just a variety of little, statutory categories, and we think 7,000 for that. So just to be clear, that's our estimate.
What about the fear that other commenters had about something about having, not having media be separate? There was like a fear that was brought up by some of the other commenters that day. Was that brought up by anyone else in the community? Did you hear that feedback besides the 3 or 4 people that spoke that day?
I haven't heard that, but I'm not the person that probably would be in the position to have heard that. So I don't know if Megan or council members.
Or did you hear anything else about, some people brought up like the government running its own site?
And I should have checked before I got here, but
That's
I've
okay.
probably received a dozen emails regarding this. And I think all but 2, well, I got 1 text and 1 email saying that they were in favor of this, the rest were against. They wanted to keep both for redundancy.
It sounds like we already are keeping both for redundancy on some things.
Currently, we're publishing in 2 places.
I mean, if this ordinance passed, we would still publish for some things. Okay.
What are the some things that stop you publishing?
Well, there are some
Sorry.
statutory, that's okay, there's some statutory categories. And they include publication notice for a budget hearing. Notification of eminent domain, when the city wants to condemn property or needs to condemn property, there's notices of a court hearing, notices of an appraiser's hearing. If we have a neighborhood revitalization district, there's a hearing for that. Just kind of a miscellaneous little bunch of things, and land acquisition, some public improvement hearings. Some of those are still required to be by a newspaper.
One of my frustrations with entering this domain, state, federal, local, is I have to have the exact word that everybody else has put this under. When you give out your notices, under the heading of engagement, will that include the actual number, the code number, and would we be able to go to search and just type in that code number and find it?
I believe it's searchable by code number. I can check the SEO. And if not, I know that's one of the things that we're constantly looking at doing for our website. One of the issues with the search was that things were not tagged correctly. So we're continually, whenever anyone has a spare moment, tagging SEO, improving search function.
Okay, thank you.
Well, my biggest concern was address. You can go right to it. It's right off the homepage and then the categories are right there and then it's also in buttons. So, I mean, that part was my concern the day of. I think you've addressed it, so I would be okay with it. I mean, I don't, as long as the really, really important things are still in the paper.
I have a question.
Yes, Chris, please.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand on Zoom. Hey, one of the things we deal with a lot is zoning, and I think there's a rule that zone changes or something have to be published a certain amount of days or weeks or something, certain amount of time posted. Does this apply to that requirement? And if we don't have the newspaper, would this all go online now? Or
I believe so.
apologize if I missed it on your slides.
I believe zoning cases can be published online, notice of zoning matters. But I will follow up to confirm that.
And to also, all of the same requirements in terms of timing before it can be instituted would still apply.
Absolutely.
But no change to any other, like the X amount of feet per the boundaries, or I mean, this would just change.
Those are a zoning code matter, so no, nothing in that would change.
Right, so whatever requirement makes it go to the paper would just put it online.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Right, thank you so much for the
Thank you.
presentation.
We'll see you later.
Safe travels to District 1. And will you tell District 1, Deb, we said hello. Sorry that we're better, but
We'll be done before they're done.
yeah, we'll see that before they are today. They have three zoning cases.
We're item 9. Last time I was item 6 and I didn't present until 10, so.
Yeah. Y'all have a good night. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Get a snack on the way.
Hey,
Yes.
Becky, I wanted to say that we're sorry, not sorry, that we're better.
That's right. So thank you for the grace of letting them go first. Appreciate everybody being patient and letting them happen so they can get back to that district advisory board. Next we go to public agenda. The first scheduled item is Glenn Scott, and he is with the Kansas Turnpike Authority. And those of you who know me know I'm a transportation geek. And I absolutely love the Kansas Turnpike Authority. I am the biggest fan. When I travel to my mom's in Iowa, I always say from here to Kansas City is the best 2 hours of the entire trip. It's just such a beautiful asset across the state of Kansas. So thank you for all you do, and we're looking forward to some updates.
Thank you, Becky. I was gonna say, I'm Glenn Scott with the Kansas Turnpike Authority. My favorite thing about Wichita is transportation. I've been in that business for a long time now. I had 17 years with KDOT prior to coming to the Turnpike, working on my 9th year with the Kansas Turnpike. And glad that we can be part of that in Wichita, connecting Wichita to the larger world. So to keep District 2 faster and better, I'll try to go through this quickly, but I find that no matter what I say, usually the most engaging portion of it is the questions that come. So I've got a short presentation that I'll give some comments on and then stand for questions if we have time.
That could be July 1st.
July 1st is coming right up and we've got.
I saw this presentation at lunch today.
Okay.
Rotary.
Yeah, well, that's June 10th. Okay, so we got a little time, but yes, July 1st is when we're going live. July 1st is a Monday, Sunday night. We'll be all out stage and ready to flip the switch and board things up and just tell people to, hey, keep going, keep going. So why cashless tolling? 3 main things that fit our mission, and the first one is safety. When we look at our barriers out on the highway, we removed the big ones that were on the main line, but we still have barriers when you enter and exit at the entry and exit points onto and off of the turnpike. So we want to keep the cars moving and flowing and all about the same speed. That really improves our safety on the facility itself. The second one is customer convenience and service. We've done customer surveys. We find that about half of our traffic on the Kansas Turnpike is travelers from out of state. Those travelers, as well as us, when we travel to other states, we've experienced and we've seen cashless tolling. And that's really just becoming the demand of customers is, hey, we want to keep moving, we want to keep going, we want to go cashless, we don't want to stop, we don't want to get stuck behind somebody that's paying with cash and drop their quarters out the door and that kind of thing. So that's the second thing. The third thing is we had operational considerations to drive us towards this goal. We had aging infrastructure, our ticket spitters and our payment machines were aging out. It was hard to find parts and equipment, hard to maintain. So we knew we were going to have to make a major investment into that portion of our business. Then, as we started this process, we saw that we were reaching a point where about 70% of our toll collectors were going to be eligible for retirement within this window of our conversion to cashless tolling. And that's probably not a shock to anybody in the workforce. There's a lot of aging out, a lot of retirement going on. That's a great thing.
I recommend aging out.
It's not a bad deal, just.
So along with that, we also implemented a plan for a workforce transition plan for our employees that wanted to maintain and stay with the Kansas Turnpike. And that's been in place for about 5 years now for those folks that can find a position with the Turnpike. And what this essentially is doing is taking our face-to-face customer service that was out on the roadway in the toll booths for many, many years. And we are opening up call centers, and I'll have a slide that kind of shows where we're at. But there's opportunities for continuing that customer service with our call centers. Our call centers are local. We're in Wichita. We have the call center here. We have the call center. It's a small one, but it's in Lawrence. And then we just got finished building a new administrative building in Topeka, and one wing of that administrative building is a call center. So with that, a little bit about cashless tolling. Coming July 1st, pay good attention today. Coming right up. If you have a K-tag right now and you've used the Turnpike and you have the electronic transponder, really not much is going to change for you. We're changing the way we transact the charges from, I got on at A and I got off at B and it was a trip. Now you may drive under 3 or 4 gantries on the main line to get from A to B, and you'll just have 3 or 4 incremental charges for the segment of the highway that you use to get there. So we are going from a trip-based tolling system to a segment transaction-based tolling system. Our board did approve the new toll rates. I believe we are the lowest per mile toll rate on the interstate for the distance, the 236 miles that we travel. It's 4.8 cents per mile for a 2-axle vehicle. So we're proud of that. Essentially, what's changing is we are removing the option of an on-road payment. There won't be an option to pay on the roadway, so no stopping. You're going to keep moving. If you don't have a K-tag or a compatible transponder, you will be an image will be taken of the license plate of the vehicle, and then a bill will be mailed to the registered owner of that vehicle. Now, I like to point out that if some of you, we have a few locations that if you drove through the gate and they got a shot of your license plate, you were an instant violator. And that was because we offered an on-road payment option at that time. After July 1st, you won't become an instant violator, you're just a customer. Now, you'll have an opportunity to become a violator if we may tell you a couple bills and you don't pay, but everybody's a customer now, and that makes it a lot better relationship for our customer service and folks that, you know, just really want to get where they're going. We'll mail a bill. Now, that rate is going to be higher because of the cost that it takes to, you know, track the money, get the information, send the bill out and receive our revenue. So that bill, that rate will be actually twice as much as a transponder rate. So if there is ever a good reason to get a K tag, if you use the turnpike, do get a K tag. They're free. They're sticker tags that fit on your windshield and that you set up your account and you're good to go.
Glenn, just in case somebody doesn't have a K tag and they're worried they may become a violator if they miss the bill or, you know, whatever, how does one become a K tag member?
So I have some cards here that will help, if you are comfortable doing it electronically and online, and I'll leave those here for anyone that would like to take one. We do have a walk-in customer service center here in Wichita. It's what a lot of people call the old Webb Road or the old Kellogg interchange, but now it's designated the Webb Road interchange. A brick building up on top of the hill adjacent to the turnpike there. And I believe the hours are 8 to 5-ish. So, or they can call and we have landline too, where we can take that information. And then we've got some insurance this summer that are gonna be strategically located at different events and they'll be passing out information for the
Thank you.
So yeah, trying to promote that for sure. So in moving to the new system and with some other changes that are coming in the Kansas City metropolitan area, we are launching a new brand that will be the umbrella over the Kansas Turnpike and the express lanes that will be opening next year, I believe, in Kansas City. We are providing the back-end service for KDOT for the toll billing and data processing for the Kansas Department of Transportation for the express lanes up in Kansas City. We are doing that. K-tags still gonna be K-tags, and it's gonna work on either one. But we're using Drive KS as our new brand to really envelop all that in under one umbrella. So driveks.com is our new website. Right now, it's an informational website, but after July 1st, it will transition to a functional and better, new and improved account management website. There's some new functionality that will allow you to do some things that just weren't possible in the past. You know, add vehicles. If mom and dad are coming to town and you want to put their license plate on your Drive KS account, you can do that, and they don't have to worry about where they drive. So I won't get into all those nitty-gritty details, but there's some neat things. Rental cars are another thing. You can say, rental cars, no, I don't want your agreement. I'm just gonna put my tags, the tag on the rental car. I'm gonna say I had the rental car from Saturday to Wednesday, and that bill will go, once that image is taken, it will go to your account. So you don't have to pay the fees and the extra amounts to the rental companies. So as I said before, we have our customer service centers that are available by phone, email, and in person. And we have a walk-in center in Topeka too. So walk-in center in Wichita and Topeka. And with that, I know I went over a lot of stuff in a hurry. I would certainly take any questions. Yes.
Let's go over the rental car portion once again. What are my options?
So right now, I think, and I may not be, I'm not the subject matter expert on this, but I think the rental cars, if they offer a transponder service, they'll say, hey, would you like to have our transponder? And hopefully it's the
daily fee.
Yeah, they charge you an amount for that.
Whether it's higher than what normal is.
You'll get the toll plus some fee for their service. So now if you, once we go live and we have new functionality on our account management system, and if you have a K-tag right now, you're gonna be converted to a Drive KS. You're gonna get that functionality. You're just gonna log in like you normally did and you're gonna have that. So you got a rental car, you can say, I'm having from here to here, and put that plate in, and when we shoot a shot of that plate, there's no transponder, it's gonna come back to you. Now, I think you have to pay the hash rate, and that's the downside to it, but it eliminates some hassle and opens up some new opportunities for managing, even travel in other states. What I forgot to mention was that we are currently fully compatible with Oklahoma, the 6 tolling authorities in Texas, We just recently brought on Florida not too long ago, except for some of the expressways near Orlando,
We still gotta go change.
where everybody goes. But,
And
I
Colorado.
think it was 2 weeks ago, yeah, Colorado, except for there's one 9 mile stretch of private tolling in Colorado that's not, fully compatible.
If you have a Colorado tag, you should cancel it, consolidate it. If you don't, you'll get 2 bills.
That sounds like a man
Speaking
speaking
from
from
experience.
experience.
I know, it was your CEO that spoke. at it.
Oh, okay. So he's drumming up K-Tag customers. And so what it is, it's a hub approach. The South Central Hub, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, we got together early and we said, here's our hub. Now the Southeast Hub is coming online. There's gonna be some other states that follow Florida. The Eastern Seaboard, and the eastern, northeastern part of the state, a lot of them fall under Easy Pass. They're working on something very similar. They're working on a hub, and then there'll be a western hub at some point. I'm not sure where they're at for California and points further west. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's my question with the rent. So I know we've got, but new tags are coming out that'll be much easier to read.
Yeah.
So for all of the states or all of the people that have tags that are much less easier to read, how much percentage do you think, and what kind of costs are we talking about for all the people that slip through? Is it a teeny tiny percent? Is it a concern that you're worried about?
So there is we right now have 70% penetration in our electronic transponders for our current customers. That's a good number for us because a lot of our traffic has transponder that we can read. I don't know what Steve said this afternoon. I don't want to say anything to contradict him, but it is a cost of doing business. It's called leakage in our business. There is a certain amount that we will not get paid on, whether that's just, we can't find them, or the plate didn't read right and, it was covered with mud or snow, or someone was putting their hand over it on their motorcycle, we've seen it all. But it's a small amount. It is a small amount. There's a lot of people that think creatively. Yes, sir.
What happens?
Do you know how old the turnpike actually is?
So our authorizing legislation, I believe, was 50, I may get this wrong, but I think we were authorized at 53 and we were open to traffic at 58. I believe.
Wow.
We were constructed, 236 miles of 4-lane freeway was constructed in 19 months, which is just incredible.
Right, I'd just like to say that it's good to see a human being in an official capacity representing the turnpikes. Thank you for
Well,
coming.
thank you very much.
I've always loved the turnpike. I'm looking forward to going through the newly cleared out toll booths at 60 miles an hour.
Where we don't have a nasty curve keeping you a little bit slower.
Smooth them out.
We will. We have improvements planned for the future.
Okay.
Obviously interim, not everything's gonna change on day one, and big changes like geometric changes will occur as our traffic demands and infrastructure ages out, so.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Back to rental cars. You've already been doing this with the interchange between I-35 and Kellogg for the past, couple of years or so?
With our, no on-road payment option.
What happens if I don't pay for any extra fees with Enterprise and I drive through? What does KTA do? Do they contact Enterprise?
Yeah.
And then I will get a bill from Enterprise.
Yeah, so right now it would be like a 1995 because it would be considered a violation.
Okay.
And they already have your credit card.
And it will still be a violation.
Yeah.
It's
After July 1st, it will not.
It will not.
You will be a customer after July 1st. All of these gantries, in fact, that one's gonna go silent. We may not tear it down right away, but that's gonna go silent. Because the main line, out on the main line where those big silver overhead gantries have been constructed, that's where our tolling takes place. Our ramps we're gonna start tearing stuff out here in late July.
So Enterprise could just take out the cash fee
Right.
For my credit card.
Whatever bill we send them, they'll send you plus some, I'm sure.
They'll add on.
They're gonna get their money back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Their time's probably worth less.
A good fact about the turnpike, they don't accept any federal, state, local
I did not,
funding.
we are.
It's all funded privately through bonds that are A++ rated.
We are.
They have self-sufficient and they reinvest most Oh, I think the budget was $136 million last year.
That's
$130 million went back.
very close.
It's pretty
We,
efficiently run.
we will be, yeah, we pride ourselves in selling a good product.
And
we-
customer service.
We think that it's a value as well. I've worked for the DOT and I've worked for the Turnpike. I love this job. It was explained to me in very simple terms. KDOT has many, many needs and limited resources. They have to really decide how to spread that out. Turnpike is in much more in good position where we have revenue that is fairly certain once COVID hits. And
You guys have been out shining Oklahoma for a long time.
I've had some contact, just for anybody that goes that way. Oklahoma does plan to reconstruct that portion of the interstate.
Thank
Not
God.
that the next 4 or 5 years, but it'll wait, yeah, it's a safety feature.
It's fast.
People
So,
drive
yeah,
to Will Rogers and they literally throw coins like this into the drive. And they all go in and they just keep going. And coins are going everywhere.
That's Florida, or I guess it was Florida.
Right, Florida.
Yeah.
So you have a company song. I'd like to recommend one.
So
I'd love to move it.
I will take that back.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, accolades for the Turnpike?
Yeah.
Will there be a way where we can look, I've heard anecdotally that, commercial traffic has been avoiding the turnpike because this might be coming and going to other roads. What's something that you're worried about at all?
We love our commercial
Right,
customers.
right, yes.
Our commercial customers actually pay a higher rate.
Right.
They fund more proportionally because, theoretically, they will also wear out the road faster. But, we've added truck parking at our service areas. We have had a extensive bridge raising program to increase vertical clearance to allow more overheight, commerce up and down the turnpike. So we really do value those folks. Love's just purchased, rights to our service
that's right,
areas.
yeah.
So we have Love's on our turnpike now. That's a major deal, especially in the trucking industry. That's a brand they value. I know we're from a quick trip town, but that's that's important.
Thank you.
Yes, we really do value.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate what you do.
And I want to run home and cook dinner now.
All right, we're right behind you. Tell Steve I said hello.
Okay, I sure will.
Thank you. Next, we'll go into staff reports again. Thank you so much for being patient and letting us help with the schedule a little bit. Wichita Police.
And I do,
so-
and I do praise the police department,
Yeah.
all the fire department, because they have it under attack.
Cover your face. It didn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
We still don't have any stats from recent events, so.
Why is
however,
that?
I mean,
It'd be spit.
yeah, we still can't, I don't even know when we'll be able to keep
It's
it
still
that
in
December,
December.
so. However, I do have your Ribbons Fest stats. There's 12 arrests, only 2 inside the footprint, and there were 10 outside of the footprint, including the carnival, because they count the carnival as separate from the Ribbon Fest. We have the Juneteenth parade, that is this Saturday, it starts at 10, it's 13th and Hillside, and it'll go to McAdams. Then we have the Community Unity Rally on the 22nd, that starts at 10 a.m. also, and that starts at the Boys and Girls Club. Then we have the Pride Parade that's on the 29th, and that begins at 11:30, that starts with Central and Main. And then, starting June 27th through July 6th, we'll be joining the fire department and the glorious firework control. Which I'm sure he may have more to say about that. I have the fireworks violations I can send to you if you guys wanna post those or read about them. But that is kind of where we're at.
We have any kind of ETA on how important or when we'll start being able to get crime stats?
I have heard starting last week to maybe never, to a couple weeks, to a couple months, I have no idea.
I think I don't quote me on this, and I can look have to send it, but I think it's supposed to be 4 weeks. And I know it's not never, but yeah, I think it's one of the last things that.
We're able to get in like our system, but I heard we can just read it right now, so it's just like the crime ambulance people being able to like figure out. Like, 'cause we had to handwrite all of that, and so now we're trying to play catch up to where them getting entered and all the things, so.
So do you think that, what's your gut feeling on the crime?
What
More
it's-
activity?
What it has been.
He's against it.
Honestly, like, from where we've been on north side and stuff, like from what I've seen in cases that have come in, it's no different than what really has been going on, so I don't really see a spike in anything significant by any means. I mean, when we still get like the felony cases or crime trend cases, because officers will let their supervisors know cases like that, just because sometimes they'll slip through since we can't put them in our system right away. So we've still been really good in communication, and again, like nothing crazy has come up.
I've heard like the theft off of porches with all the online deliveries and stuff continues to go up and up.
I haven't seen it go up, that's been a constant thing, obviously, for the past couple of years. I haven't seen a spike anywhere in significance to our area, but I can look into it, definitely. But, I mean, we've done special assignments and stuff, for the past couple of years, trying to catch people doing that. And honestly, people really do a good job of posting like their video footage from their Ring camera and posting that online and like trying to get people ID. So if people do tell you that and they do have Ring cameras, make sure that they're posting that video footage and letting us see it, because that's a really good way of us IDing
You'll go
people.
after them?
Yeah, especially if you know who they are and it's like a constant, like, a repeat problem,
In April, the patrol lease commander kind of touched on some things going on at that hotel at Arbor and Kellogg. Has there been any movement on that?
I don't know.
Cop car got some like there.
You're talking about Blue Wave?
Yes.
I don't know, I would have to reach out to Eastside and ask them. I'm not for certain on what is going on with that. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know the specifics on it. They would have to give you an update, but I can ask them and maybe they can let you guys know.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions for
Do
me?
you have any new recruits hitting the streets?
Recruits are still in the academy. They should be done in July, and then I think like immediately after, like a day later, is the next class. So, we're trying.
We know, thank you.
They're a good group of recruits, so. Yes, well, I train them, so I'm with them a lot.
Cool.
And they're
Well,
really
you should
good.
be optimistic.
So we're in car stops right now, so, yeah.
I had a quick question.
Down the big boys.
Yes, Jennifer, I'm sorry, Jennifer, then Tyler, Jennifer?
Good evening. So I just had a quick question. I see an ENT over on Shannon Woods Circle or Court, and I've noticed an uptick in accidents, car accidents or near misses. I'm over there on a weekly basis. So I didn't know if you guys have noticed that at all, or if there's any way to get a light on, it's like Webb and then Shannon Woods, I think it's Circle or Court. And there's several like doctor's offices in that area.
Okay. I can look into it, yes.
Thank you. And what would happen is we do a crash study analysis and then we would have to do a traffic count. In the time I've been on council, I have learned that one of the hardest things to get is a signal light. And that's because it disrupts the flow of traffic, so you have to have kind of the perfect storm of accidents and traffic count to be able to justify it, but we can always check into it for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely look in to see how many cases we have.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Tyler?
Curious about Riverfest numbers, that seems low. Historically, how does that stack up?
With arrests?
Yeah, from years past.
We don't really have much arrests at Riverfest.
Okay.
And this year they implemented the, metal detector, like the wand and stuff, which looks ideal, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a big fan of that. So I think that, with that being known too, that kind of persuaded people not even to bother. There was a couple of, possession of firearms arrests, I think there was 2 of them, and then they, sent 2 away at the gate. But with those implements, I think that was very helpful. But again, a lot of our arrests weren't even in the footprint, it was the carnival and then the outside area, so.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks for waiting.
Thank you. Be safe.
Good. Hey, bring some videos of you taking down some of the big boys in class.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, right,
we'd like to see that.
Yep, I'll get on that tomorrow.
All right, next fire, Italian Chief Russia. And I think it's a good point of privilege. A couple Saturdays ago, I was at home. It was in the evening and my husband was flying in and my alarm system at my house. I'm gonna tell this. But,
Please tell them the whole thing.
no.
Were you mad at him by any chance?
No, so my alarm went off, and at first I thought somebody was breaking into my home. But then I got a call from my security system, and I had it parked in the house lately. And they said that they dispatched the Wichita Fire Department, and you were in my house in less than 3 minutes from when the alarm went off. Came in, had the monitors to check the level, opened all the windows, brought in big fans, shut off the gas.
Tell them how many cars were there.
I think we had 2 or 3 different stations represented. Yeah, 4. So I took them all treats, a couple. But I said this from the bench, the Wichita Fire Department not only got there quickly, professionally, helped keep me calm, answered all of my million questions of what else do I need to do and who do I call next and how do I get this fixed and so I always believe in the exemplary service of our first responders, but to firsthand really just shed light on it. So thank you for all of you and your fellow firefighters. Really appreciate it.
Well, one of our biggest things is the faster we get out the door, we're not gonna make up time on the road. It is what it is when you're on the road. So biggest thing is we tell the truth, the faster you get out the door, the faster we're gonna get there. So that's one of the things that we strive to do is make sure that crews are getting up and going. That's the big difference right there.
And I don't have a large home, so don't think this is part of it. I have a small home and from the time I left the phone call, ran down the stairs and got out my front door, you were in the driveway. So you got.
I made it, the other guy.
Yeah.
I made it a little bit later.
Yes, your colleagues got there almost faster than I could get even through my own home. So I just, again, so grateful for what you do. So thank you.
No, appreciate it. Go over a couple things. I sent an email with, kind of an overview and.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go over some of it. One thing that got left off, and this happened in, I wanna say it was late April, the East Boston Apartment Fire. I made that one, middle of the night. I didn't know if there's any questions on that. I don't know if you saw any videos of it. There was a lot of fire on arrival. Crews did a really good job on this fire. Majority of all of our search took place in the backside off of ladders going in through windows on the second floor. The whole front side was, completely engulfed. Luckily, we got really lucky on this fire. People were able to evacuate. It was one of those that you pull up on and it's not one of the fires that you like to have. On East Boston, it's 10132 East Boston, some apartments over there. I don't remember the name of the complex.
Boston's on.
Yeah, it's off of Webb and Harry. It's just gonna be just north of Harry.
No, just property damage.
Property damage, I know there were some injuries of them jumping, the parents did really good and the other family members who were out in the other apartments did really good getting out. I know there were some minor injuries. I think one girl was maybe a little bit more injured, from jumping. But other than that, it was one of those fires, but I didn't know if there's any questions on that. I'm gonna go over, that's more in our district. We've been really actually pretty slow over here on the east side on all shifts.
Yay.
Which is a good thing. Other than our typical medicals and everything, car wrecks, stuff like that. But fire-wise, we've been pretty slow on that compared to other parts of the city. We're still dealing with, we do still deal with a lot of board ups, certain areas over here on the east side. So we keep an eye on that. Usually crews drive by, just to kind of make a presence known. Whether it helps, we don't know. I mean, PD drives by just the same way. So we still have that problem. I know it's summertime, there's been a couple of submersions already. We had the Watson Park recovery, 2800 South Old Lawrence Road this last month. And then we just recently had one out there at Lake Afton. Biggest advice I can say is people in the water need to wear life jackets, especially if you've been drinking or having fun. And you know, that's the bad thing. It's not a good mix. So.
I
then-
understand that the people from Lake Afton, one of them didn't know how to swim and the other one went in after him.
Yeah, 4 people. Well, my understanding, there was 5 people. I was working that night over here, so I didn't go to that one. But it was mostly a county call. We send our city rescue with it for divers. I believe there was 5 who went in and then 4 came out. So
Do
then,
they know what caused the first man to go under?
what it sounds like, from what I heard, he was yelling for help. Exhaustion probably.
Listen, this is a guy swimming at 1:30 AM on a Sunday morning, put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, usually what happens is you'll cramp up, they can't tread water no more, and then they'll call for help, and then it just goes down from there, unfortunately. We had a building fire, it seems like Harry Washington's had a rash of fires lately on buildings, and a lot of them are board ups. So we've been dealing with that. Biggest one we had was an old restaurant that was over there. I don't have the exact address, but it was just right, I believe it was east of Washington there, or west of Washington, excuse me, right there on Harry. Crews did a really good job. We're still, you know, no matter what we're dealing with, the different types of constructions that we arrive on, but things went really well on the operation side. And I go over, we had more fires than that. That's mostly the big standout ones. Few other things we're doing is Community Risk Reduction Division, CRRD. They want to put out, it's summertime stuff for students, kids who are at home, in that flyer that I sent to you. And I believe you're gonna put it on the website too, right? Does it go to the website for DAB, or does DAB have a website?
Well, it's in the agenda.
Okay.
This was awesome, by the
Yeah,
way.
they're very nice.
Thank you for your time.
Well, it ain't me putting it together, it's actually downtown, so it's very nice that they're doing this, because one, it also helps us, I ain't gonna lie, it's very good for us when we come to DABs. Usually I'm jotting down different things, but that day, before we come, so this is very nice on it. Cause it's also given a bigger, wider perspective of the fire department on what we do, just like with CRD putting out, you know, about kids paying attention, you know, if they hear smoke detectors going off, tell the parents, if you smell smoke, get outside, don't waste time. If you evacuate it, you know, parents need to make sure their kids know where they're going when they evacuate, so that way they're in one location instead of scattered, especially if it's a big family. The biggest thing on that is so when we pull up, we can find out, we can ask them, anybody else inside. Don't go back, kids, you know, are gonna do crazy things sometimes, they're gonna go back inside with toys, pets, clothes, so we just wanna make sure that they're not doing that different stuff. The lead matches and lighters alone. And then it has some other advice on there from parents, I'm not gonna go through it all. Let's see. I believe, I've never done the public alerts with Sedgwick County, but I know it has something for signing up for community bulletins, emergency alerts, and severe weather warnings, so I believe that's just gonna be able to tell everybody. I know my mom does it, she will text me and ask me, hey, were you there? Did you go to this one?
Oh,
So-
no, that's so nice.
Yeah, she calls me about so. We got a few other stuff, like our train division put in, a total of 5,443 man hours were put in on training for company training department wide, in April. 607 of the hours were just dedicated to training at the regional training center. We do training every day, whether it's at the station or whether it's at the training grounds. And then we did 453 total hours documented training with either Sedgwick County or probably Derby. And we actually do quite a bit of training with Andover too when we get time to get over there, or they come in here. We graduated, well, we ran, I think there was 12 to 14 firefighters through driver certifications. So what they're doing now is they go through driver certification. In the old days, you went, you got certified, you came out and you were certified. But now what we do is we send them down, they go through the training, they come back to the station, they have a task book that they get run through. They run through that, they have up to a year to get this completed, usually takes quite a bit, and then they become drivers on the floor. So that was completed here last month. They did the lieutenants and captains promotional test last month. Out of 70 candidates, they had to do it with 70 candidates on there. I'm just following through on those two.
How many get promoted out of 70 candidates?
How?
No, how many get promoted?
Oh, it depends, depends on the year, depends on retirements. Truthfully.
5 or 6 or like 40?
Yeah, no, I would say, it depends. Lately, I would say average probably maybe 12 a year.
So pretty competitive then, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's been years in the past when one person would be promoted to captain, one lieutenant. That was before me, but we're kind of probably hitting the slowdown point on promotions, just due to number of people retiring. We had a big group probably in the last 10 years leaving who came on, so it'll slow down probably for a while. So it is very competitive. They do a lot of stuff. You get the material 3 months before, so yeah, there's a lot of time put into it. FIU, which is our investigation unit, responded to 14 fires from April 20th to May 20th. That's made at $200,000 damage overall. And right here it says 7 of them were vacant structures, and 2 of them, they confirmed that they were a result of squatters. We can't rule the other 5 out, we just don't know. I do have a list of all the fires, I believe, let me double check this. We did have, I forgot about this fire. We did have at 600 North Beach, which is over just north of the aircraft plant there at Central and Webb. It was another vacant structure, that vacant trailer there that was on fire with a detached garage. So that one happened here in our district. Other than that, that's been about one. And we're continuing to work to update our stuff for IT, everything else, just like everybody else now. And then I was gonna go over fireworks. For us, we'll be doing fireworks patrol from the 27th of June to the 5th of July. During these times, we're kind of switching it up. It's gonna start, it's not gonna go on as long for the first 3 days, but July 3rd, 4th, and 5th will be going to 3 a.m. The other ones, I believe, stop at midnight or 11. But that stuff is what will be going on. I know we're teaming up with PD. The big difference for this year is PD will be writing the tickets compared to us. We're more going to be their advisors on the ordinance and everything, but they will be, I believe, writing tickets. That's what I was told today. I don't know how many teams will be out. Wait. Yes, sir.
What were the allowed hours again?
The what now?
What were the allowed hours time of the day?
Oh, tell you the truth, don't have that written down here. I know it's supposed to, I believe it's midnight, I thought we had to stop.
And it's only for 3 days, right?
The big aerial is only for 3 days. But we'll start it way earlier because it always starts earlier. Yeah, but yeah, I believe it just goes till midnight every night.
That non-emergency line that
It's
goes
gonna-
by, is that the same number?
I don't know if it's the same number. They haven't put that number out yet to us. They said they're gonna make sure to give us more, more information. Closer.
And we'll do lots of in it, press releases.
I'm assuming it'll probably be the same. It has, I think, for the last couple of years.
Yes, the data they've given us has been it's freed up 911 substantially, and we don't want people not being able to get.
Where do our investigators come from? Are they homegrown? Special courses?
Yeah, or what?
Special courses?
Yeah, they take state courses and everything else and national
That's a
classes.
state certification kind of thing?
Don't know there, I believe they do have certification, but I don't know if it's necessary to do our state. We have our own, you still have the state fire marshal's office, they have investigators there. And we'll get a lot of ATF agents that come in and they train, and they'll come in and work with our guys, go to fires, to get training that way. But most of it's homegrown, most of it is just guys going to that path. It's a different work schedule, no longer working 24-hour shifts.
Does that turn out to be a full-time job?
Oh, yes.
So not firemen and individuals?
Yeah, it's just full-time investigators.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
For all you do.
Yep, you guys have a good evening.
All right, John with Park and Rec, thanks for your patience.
No problem. John Sidwell, Recreation Supervisor at Boston Rec Center. Just to start off, Boston's currently one of the sites for the summer free lunch program. So any of the kids under 18 are welcome to come and eat a free lunch from 12 p.m. to 12:30. And then also coming up this summer, we have a bunch of free events at Napster Park coming up. We have our story time in the park on Tuesday, tomorrow, June 11th, from 10 to 11 a.m. And then on June 15th, we have a Shine Dance Fitness for ages 8 and older from 10 to 11. And then also we have our Kian Summer Concert Series at Napster Park. That will be at 6 p.m. June 14th, we have Across the Pond. And then on August 2nd, Fast Lane. And August 9th, Lucky People. And then on the 16th, we will end the concert series with the Roadhouse Saints. And then another event coming up, put on by the fire department with the city crew event is our firefighters in training. That will be Saturday, June 15th from 10 to 12 at the fire training facility. And also with aquatics, our pools and our splash pads are up and currently running. There's a bunch of options you can do at our pools as far as the parent-child classes, swim lessons, swim team, aqua aerobics, and you can access all that either on the app or you can access it online. And then also coming up to an end with registration is our summer adult co-ed kickball, which is June 14th is the last day to sign up for that. And slow pitch softball summer registration league has started, and that will end July 15th for registration. And then of course we have our Miracle League swim team. Registration ends June 16th, and it's for ages 5 to 25. It is $25 for them to sign up. And then also I'm super excited about QR fitness trails. If you don't know what that is we have 3 parks: Clap, Bonnie Prairie, and the Veterans Memorial Park. And along the park over a mile, we will have signs along the trails with different exercise videos at each sign. The videos will demonstrate an exercise without equipment. And every week those videos will change. And then you can choose exercise of your choice at each sign. You can either choose an upper body, core, flexibility, or lower body exercise. And what you'll do is you'll go up and you'll, with your phone, and scan that QR code, perform the exercise, then you walk or run to the next sign. So I'm pretty excited to see how that goes. But that's pretty much what's going on with Park and Rec right now, outside of our normal summer camps and stuff.
Awesome. You are amazing, John. You are always so busy. There's so much going on. If people say they're bored in Wichita, I always say just go check out the Evolve magazine, right? Find something fun to do that's low cost or no cost. But any questions for John? I don't see any, John. I know you have a busy summer coming up, so we'll look forward to updates next month.
Sounds good. You guys have a lovely night.
You too. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Next, last but not least, is John Cleary with Wichita Public Library.
Good evening, everybody. John Clary, Rockwell Branch Manager here. Share a few things with you that's going on with the library, but first thing is I love the bike paths.
Yeah.
Last thing.
Oh, we
use them all the time.
forgot. Okay, good job. Thank you.
So, our summer reading program kicked off on May 23rd. This year's theme is Adventure Begins at Your Library. We encourage kids, teens, and adults to explore their library and city through books, programs, and special events. Registration is available at all 7 library locations and through our free Beanstack app. And the summer reading program runs until August 1st. This summer, we're also partnering with the Wichita Symphony Orchestra for a series of story times and small concerts. Follow along with the book Welcome to the Symphony. We have 5 Wichita Symphony museums that will discuss and demonstrate their instruments. The attendees will, people that attend will enjoy a free group performance and be able to ask the musicians questions about this. This program is recommended for kids 4 to 8. Just last Friday, we had 53 kids and 35 adults in this room, and they got to learn from the 5 musicians about their instruments, got a free performance, and kids loved it. We also got some little musical things, and they went crazy too. So this place was wild last Friday. Additional locations and dates for those performances. The symphony is June 22nd at the Walters Branch, which is in Wichita Mall at 1 p.m. The Evergreen Branch at 25th and Arkansas on June 24th at 10:30 in the morning. The Advanced Learning Library downtown in Delano, July 15th at 6 p.m. The Alfred Branch Library at 235 in Meridian down south, July 16th at 2:30. And Angelou Branch at Hillside at 21st, July 26th at 2:30 p.m. Wichita Symphony will be there. Got any kiddos, you just want to check out the symphony for free. Those are your opportunities to do so. All library locations will be closed on Wednesday, June 19th in observance of Juneteenth. We do have a few opportunities for kids and teens though to make Juneteenth freedom bracelets. And they can do the bracelets at the Angelou Branch on June 13th, 14th, and June 15th from 1 to 6 p.m. Finally, we are hosting the 2024 Sundance Shorts Tour this year at the Advanced Learning Library. This program gives you a sampling of festival offerings. Audiences who missed the Sundance Film Festival can enjoy a mix of fiction, documentary, and animated shorts that are funny, sad, inspirational, and full of strong characters. That's going to be later this month of June, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd from 3 to 4:30 p.m. So if you're into the Sundance Shorts, check it out. It's the Advanced Learning Library. I'll take any questions.
I just want to give you guys a shout out because I was in a very far away foreign country and my Libby app still worked, which was such a lifesaver because nothing else worked. They're like, you're in Australia and Disney Channel doesn't work down here, but my Libby app works.
That's awesome.
Libby app will get you ebooks and audiobooks, and you can listen to them all the time. And they're totally free to download. So check out the Libby app.
Nice.
Thank you for coming.
I just would like to take a point of privilege. If you see right before the adjournment, our new location, unfortunately, we're being displaced from here, where we've been nice and comfy for, gosh, 7 years, I think, maybe 8 years. And we'll now be at Fire Station 20. So next month, that's where it goes. There's a chance, Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, we may not have a district advisory board meeting next week. We'll keep you posted. Next month, we'll keep you posted. Right now, we don't have any zoning cases. If we just have staff cases, I choose to cancel just for everyone's time, and we'll send you an email instead. Because it would take you longer to drive there than it would to actually have a meeting. But on alert, so if we do have the meeting and something comes up, it will be next month at Fire Station 20. But John has been so kind to work with here, helpful for Teresa, helpful for me. So we just wanted to give you a little token of our appreciation. Some little Wichita flag swag. So thanks for all your help. I'm so glad you're here. And will you still be doing our library report just there?
Yeah, I'll either be in person,
Or
I'll-
virtually.
Virtually, yes.
Well, we'll miss seeing you in person, but thank you for all you've done for
Very
us.
welcome, thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
just to kind of give you an idea of the timeline of our remodel here at this branch, we're planning on doing our groundbreaking ceremony, mid-July-ish. And start our dirt work. They're gonna expand the parking lot out into the park. We're gonna add some additional parking. We're gonna have a drive-up window on the east side and another drive line that goes out towards 9th Street, so you can pick up your books and drop off your materials without getting out of your vehicle, which will be wonderful. We'll start the renovation and actual building work, probably around September, October. And we should be done by March 2025 is what I'm hearing.
That's really fast. So
So if it all works out, what's that?
Will the branch be closed?
No, we're planning on trying to stay open most of it. They may have us, moved around a few days or even have us limited services for different time periods, but we're gonna try to stay open the entire time.
Great.
At least provide some basic services. So. And we're really excited about the remodel. It's gonna be a really nice new library for everybody to enjoy. And we'll be looking forward to having you back in our expanded meeting room area. Hopefully by March of 2025.
we're coming back.
Yeah. I'll either, if we do the July meeting, I'll either be in person or I'll be on Zoom.
Okay, we'll let you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Anything else for the good of the order? I do just want to thank Teresa, amazing, you keep us all going, not just your district advisory board meeting, but help me so much. You are just a breath of fresh air and it's just a pleasure to work with you, so.
You did during the cyber.
She makes it
She
look,
had it all out.
she makes it look easy and it's not, so I think. Yeah, so if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say bye. See you next month,
Thank you.
maybe.
Furnace.
Bye.